Welcome, everybody, to Monday Night Football, where Soccer Town comes to you, brought to you by Elliott Media. The end of regular season is upon us, but that's my favorite time of soccer because now we start knockout football. What do y'all think?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's a lot to digest, and there's a lot to that we're going to need to go through. Just getting out the brackets today. GHSA doing a good job of sitting on it over the last week and not letting anything out till today. I had a couple of texts sent to me like brackets.
No insider information?
I know. I mean, you could guess at what it was going to be, but you didn't know because of the ranking system that they're using. So,
well, the brackets came out around noon. I think they did a coin flip. So now, universal coin flip. Bottom bracket won it, so that means Dalton is in the bottom bracket of their 4A. So if they advance to the semis,
they're hosting.
They would be hosting if they were matched up with another team. Northwest on the flip side,
that's
on
tasty.
the upper bracket.
Yeah.
So they would have to go away if they have to. So it's going to be very interesting. But with that, let's go ahead and go straight into the Optilink scoreboard. We had some matches on Tuesday and some Thursday and then a couple on Friday, so I will go through that really quick. On Tuesday, you had Northwest beating Kahala on the Battle of the North. Girls 6-0 win over Kahala, boys 1-0. Then you had the Battle of
Fort Mountain Cup.
The Fort Mountain Cup. Murray County taking that on both boys and girls 1-0. You had the Battle of
Mill Creek.
Battle of Mill Creek. Dalton Academy versus Christian Heritage. Christian Heritage girls taking the dub 3-0, and then Dalton Academy boys winning 3-1. A little stunner. Dalton going down to Pebblebrook, dropping one. 2-1 versus Pebblebrook.
I ain't saying I told you about that, Les, but I just said you might want to look at it.
And then Southeast playing Rome, and that was girls, and Rome beating them 3-1. And then on Thursday, we had Murray County playing North Cobb Christian. Both Murray County coming out on top, girls 4-2, boys 2-1. And then Christian Heritage playing Armurchie, and they lost both games. The girls 7-0, boys 3-0. And we then had Kahala Creek playing Dalton Academy. Todd, Kahala Creek coming out on top 3-2. North Murray losing to Gilmer on both boys and girls, 5-1 girls, 2-1 boys. And then El Clásico wasn't really El Clásico this year. Dalton dominated both games for a total combined score of 10-2.
Are we combining scores?
That was such a dirty move.
They're combining scores.
6-1 on the girls' side, and then 4-1 on the boys with a golazo from Mr. Joe Gonzalez, Mr. Do-It-Off. He doesn't win Player of the Year in Region 4A. I don't know what it is. That boy is crazy.
He's on fire.
Yes. And then on Friday, just a couple of matchups, Northwest versus Northside. Girls dropping to Northside 3-1. The boys coming out on top 6-1. And then Sonoraville versus Kahala Creek. Both teams winning. Kahala Creek winning. Girls 1-0. Clinched their region. Yep. And then the boys winning 5-4. I think that went into PKs.
It did. So without going further, you mentioned on social media today that we do have a record 14 out of 16 teams going to the state
post,
class.
By the way. What a professional write-up.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you guys want to get just a synopsis of where we are, who's going, and what's been done, Juan posted a great Facebook post today. It kind of encapsulates everything. But I do want to congratulate our region winners this year, Dalton and Kahala Creek on the boys' side, and on the girls' side, Northwest. And for the first time ever, the Kahala Creek girls are region champions.
You're the Colts.
Yeah. And so shout out the Kahala Creek, the only ones winning region in boys and girls.
That's great.
Yeah, we look at Creek sometimes, especially, we look at them in Soccer City Cup, and, sometimes they don't finish as high, but we forget how high they're playing up in some of those instances. They are a classification 2A, and here they are, playing 3A and 4A schools, so it's an uphill battle. But the proof's in the pudding when they go to region, and the girls, more so than any this year, winning region for the first time.
And it's just, that's just a big shout out there to, the coaching staff there. Asher coming in first year, obviously.
Coley's been laying the groundwork for years,
yes,
and now it's all come together. So.
But with that, we're getting ready to go to commercial break. And when we come back, we'll have some more coverage of Monday Night Football.
I'm Dr. Michelle Little.
And I'm Dr. Kayla Giabo with Foundation Direct Family Care. We wanted to start a membership-based primary care practice.
But we're doctors, not business people.
I'm Kylie Roy with Biltwell Bank. I listen to their pitch and help them scale from startup to owning their own building.
Biltwell sees the value of small businesses in the community and supports their ingenuity.
Because every business owner doesn't have an MBA, our bank is Biltwell.
Member FDIC.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Come see us.
Hey, that's our part.
Hey, and welcome back to Monday Night Football here at the Matt Gadsden Community Center, brought to you by Elliott Media. Big shout out and thank you to all of our sponsors who make this possible on a week in and week out basis. All right, let's jump right in. Last week, the big action was started with the girls, La Clásica. Yeah, we didn't, this was I didn't really know what this game was going to be. I thought on paper, I thought Dalton was the favorite, obviously, just based on record in the game earlier in the season. But just want to get you guys take on the 6-1 win.
I was looking forward so much to the girls game. I would say even more than the guys game, because I remember 2 months ago when they first played at Southeast, it was a close game. I was there from the beginning, and they were back and forth, pretty back and forth. So with it being the last game of regular season, I was expecting that final, okay, hey, they beat us from Southeast. I was expecting they beat us at our home ground. We got to play our hearts out. And so even though Dalton was favorite, I didn't expect a 6-1.
Right.
I was disappointed.
One kind of like, I heard the, almost like he did expect it.
If you look at the record, the way Southeast was coming in compared to Dalton, Southeast was coming in on a 4-game losing streak. They were just, kind
of that end of the year slump.
Yeah, they were in the end of the year slump, and that happened to them a couple years ago. Remember, they had the end of the year slump, and it affected them in the playoffs. And I just don't know what is it with this Southeast team. They have all the pieces they have there. It's just I don't know. And Todd, I don't know if you're a reader of body language, but the body language of the Southeast girls, like after Dalton scored the first goal, they went from here to here.
Yeah.
And if we all know, especially on the girls' side, emotion is a very big part of their game. And I think after that they mentally checked out. I just don't know what to say. Like I said, this is not the first year that this happened. This has been a recurring theme in the past few years.
Well, I know generally we don't get into tactics too much, but I was a little surprised at the high line that Southeast took.
A great
just because of the crazy amount of speed that is up top, and the offside trap was working until it didn't. And then
Ashley was offside like 10 times on her own.
Yeah, who was?
Ashley.
Once Dalton forwards started timing and figuring out the offside, it was an absolute foot race that Dalton is going to win. That front line is going to win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, Ashley, she was just, once she figured it out and she was just watching scanning the field and looking at the last person, she was like, all right, I got it. And foot race, no one's going to take her. And then Allie, very creative. Kendra doing Kendra things, man. She's just controls that midfield, bosses it, throwing in, crosses from the middle of the field, crowing of the cross. Her vision was parallel defense. Ellis Robertson, coming up clutch.
And to think that Ellis is a freshman, just nothing but great things to come from her if she keeps developing at this.
And this game was very big as well because we had Mr. Jason Longshore himself calling the game.
Yep.
For Soccer Down South, if you haven't had a chance, he was very impressed with the game. He came out impressed with a few players.
Yeah.
So, but.
Yeah, it's interesting. He noted too that there are multiple players that were on the field that if they wanted to play at the next level, those opportunities are going to be there.
They're going to be there.
But like we always say, coaches don't know what your future plans are. So if you have plans to go play at the next level, you need to be reaching out to them. We could harp on that all day, but
I was going to say, you mentioned Joe Gonzalez, player of the season for the boys' side. I would argue Kendra would be my player of the season for the girls' side. What do y'all think?
We'd have to look into it. Obviously, Alatuna finished on top. For the area, I would put Kendra up there just because she does everything. She controls the mid. She's able to distribute from the back. She's able to defend. She doesn't get flustered. She's able to do free kicks. But
that's a good point about not getting flustered. She seems to be completely level-headed and always in the game.
If you look at her demeanor when she's playing, just from what we've seen and what I've seen, and this is just my observation from the Dalton girls, like her facial expression, her demeanor doesn't change from one play to the next.
Yeah, you can't tell if they're up 5-0 or if they're down 5-0.
Now you look at Ashley. She plays a little bit more with her emotions on her sleeve. You can tell when she's getting frustrated. Coach Almodova had to calm her down a couple of times and say, "Hey, look, be patient. It's going to come."
But that's not a bad thing either. There's a time and a place.
Same with Allie.
And then Allie's just Allie's up. So I think and we're going to go over this more in the next segment. But they have the region that Dalton, Southeast, and Altoona, they have a tough matchups in the first round.
Right out of the bat. All three of them.
They are playing perennial powers, and we're going to go over that more towards the end of the show. But it's going to be very tough to see that and go from there.
Wait, as far as the Clásico goes, I didn't get anything that a Clásico would offer you. I mentioned how at the beginning of this show and everything, I'm not too familiar with the high school game, yet the Clásico was always a game that you went to no matter what. I've been to pretty much every
the crowd turnout was great.
It was amazing. I love the crowd.
Great.
No Georgia tacos, but...
Hey, but we had tacos. They came in at the last second.
Well, Georgia Tacos was double booked, so they came out and brought a Taqueria León.
Hey, and thank you, Taqueria León, because I hope it worked out for you guys because, we need that there.
But let's not be remiss. This was a Soccer City Cup game, and Northwest girls had taken it the last 2 years, or it being since we put it out there, and this was Dalton. They were excited. They took it. You could tell. There was a lot of excitement. I may have helped get the coach wet a little bit, but
Yeah, and we got that on film. As when we go into the break, we're going to go into the break with two things. We'll have an interview with Ali Rosales, and we're also going to have the video of Coach Almodova getting soaked. So, but yeah, and also we can go ahead and we can put up the final standings for Soccer City Cup. And when you look at those, you see Dalton dominating just right on top there. Took all 9 points, undefeated this year, amazing goal differential. And really, you can just see the seriousness that they took in handling this competition. It was all business for all the games.
Yeah. And you know what, and I'm glad that they take it. They're actually looking at it and taking it seriously. I think when we first started this, we didn't know what it was.
None more serious than the coach himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I may have got a picture of him on our little side group chat of him, enjoying that trophy at home. So
I'm gonna need to see that. I'm afraid in whatever capacity that is.
But with that, let's get ready to go to commercial break. But as we do, check out this interview that we were able to get with Ali Rosales and then Coach Almodova getting a little bit of
celebration.
Yes.
A little bit of celebration.
Hey guys, this is Todd with Monday Night Football. I'm joined by Ali Rosales, senior for Dalton High. You guys just won Soccer City Cup. You're a senior. How does it feel winning the Soccer City Cup the first time?
It feels absolutely unreal. I feel like the emotions were played out on the pitch today. I think at the full 80 minutes, everyone was just so happy, and we celebrated in the locker room. So it was just the emotions were so high on and off the field.
Because you guys have been close a couple of times and winning it and just barely missed out.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, so it felt absolutely incredible. I could have not asked for a better last regular game of the season.
So you guys end on a positive note going into the playoffs, and I understand you guys are drawing Westminster in the first round of the playoffs. What's your mentality going into the playoffs and knowing that you're coming up against Westminster, a strong team historically?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to put all of the rest of the season behind, because now we're on to the playoffs, we're on to the better things. We want to at least get to the second round of state this year. So I think by working together on and off the field, we can achieve that goal.
And I would not let you get out of here without telling me your favorite moment as a high school player in the last 4 years.
I think probably my favorite moment of my high school career was just getting in with the team. I love the girls. They're all so nice, and probably one of my favorite things is huddling before the game and praying together. And it's just really special in my heart. So and also winning region back-to-back 3 years was really
well. Congratulations. Enjoy the win, and good luck moving into the playoffs.
Thank you so much.
Coaches Rodriguez and Frausto. The varsity boys finished as the number 1 seed in the BGM SAA League with 5 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie. They will play the second round of the playoffs next Tuesday.
Why should you choose Optilink Internet?
I chose Optilink because of the great local service.
We know computers, and Optilink knows internet with high-speed symmetrical uploads and downloads.
My customers depend on me for safety and security, and I need fast and dependable internet. That's why I chose Optilink.
Some people say you can't have fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with Optilink.
Experience the difference. Call today, 706-529-1313.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At coldwellbanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At coldwellbanker.com.
And welcome back to Monday Night Football. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview there with Ali Rosales, who is going to be going to Gwinnett College there in Gwinnett County to continue your soccer career. And then Coach Almodovar finally getting this cup that he's been wanting for so long. So.
By the way, I hope that's the start of a tradition, whether it goes to Dalton or wherever it goes.
Wetting the coach?
Yeah, wetting the coach with the cup. That's actually – that started early, and I started at Murray, and we're going to have the Fort Mountain Cup highlights. But, yeah, and I was standing beside the coach when it happened, so I got some backlash on that one. But, yeah, El Clásico.
Femenil, it didn't live up to this hype, but hopefully next year we'll be able to see see what happens. But now let's go a little bit of El Clásico.
Oh, I was so ready because I switched to the other side because of that game. I sat for the girls on one side, the guys on the other. I mean, pretty much I would say it's similar story where it was just a one-sided from the beginning.
I told you weren't here, but I told Todd last week. I said, look, Southeast will be able to keep it close or competitive for about 20, 25 minutes. And they did. It's just Dalton. First of all, they were coming off an L, which I don't think. I don't think that's happening.
I don't think you want to catch Dalton on any day. But I don't think you want to catch Dalton coming off a loss. I don't think that's good.
Where technically they probably were their favorite team, and maybe, but like I said, every team that plays Dalton is going to get their best shot. And
let's don't undersell what Pebblebrook is. Pebblebrook is a 6A school, 2,700 kids. Like, they're ranked in the top 10 in 6A. Like, that's not a softball.
It's not a softball, but Dalton plays their schedule. Dalton's boys' schedule is probably the toughest schedule in the state. Let's just look at who they play. They play McIntosh. They're not going to back down. They're going to play whoever. So either Pebblebrook. Honestly, if I think they were to play again, I don't know if Pebblebrook plays the way they play.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah.
No, I'm just being every team. That is not a Dalton, that is not a Southeast, that is not a Northwest, that is not a Coahulla Creek.
You're going to catch the best.
They're going to play them at their best, and that's what happened. And then they came into the Clásico and City Cup, and you saw what happened. Mm-hmm. And how do you feel? So, I mean, I'm a Southeast alum as well, Diego. But doing this show a few years, we've sort of became a little less biased. And,
we try.
I was rooting as much as I could, and I know in the next few years I'll have to because my little nephew will be up there. But right now,
I think right now they're just on two different levels.
Yes. It's just such a disparity.
Yeah, and what's in the only thing you're really looking to make up for is the fact that it is a rivalry, and you don't know, and that's why you play the game. And occasionally, the underdog is going to punch up, and that's what we're watching for. It's no discredit to Southeast. I mean, they are in the same region this year. So I'll be honest with you, over the coming years, I'm going to look for Southeast to get better. I don't expect this to stay like a lopsided. And Southeast scored their first goal in 2 years on Dalton. That's crazy.
And they had the potential in the first 20 minutes score another one, Jonah, but then it looked like he tweaked his ankle a little bit, and then he went out and never came back in. And I think there they had to adjust.
Not that they played bad after he went out.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
They scored their goal. But
I don't know if you noticed, they were man-marking Jonah the first 15, 20 minutes. Wherever he went, they had, I think it was number not 14 because that's Joe, but one of the defenders was just
4, I think.
Was just tracking him wherever he went. So, I mean, but Dalton did what they had to do all season. They've done what they've had to do all season. I mean,
see, there's an old cliche in soccer where it's like when it comes to a derby, form goes out the window. And so I don't look at anything surrounding it because it should be Dalton Southeast. Like you said, it's a rivalry. It's a Clásico.
Yeah.
So even though Southeast currently, I mean, is at a different level than Dalton, admittingly so, I still expect to see that passion, that Raider rage.
Going in hard.
That toughness, that representing, hey, we don't care how the season's going. This is personal. I don't see that.
Well,
and I will say this: Dalton took it personal too because they did not let up.
They did not.
Like, and you know what? That's a sign of respect. When you don't let up on somebody, that is a sign of respect.
Because if we recall, you know what happened 2 years ago, 2022. They let up with 7 minutes left, and what happened?
Oh, legendary moment.
Southeast came in,
Angel Garcia
up 3-3. But like I said, Dalton, they've done what they had to do, and you were just mentioning. You don't see that passion, whatever. Here's the thing, Diego, and here's where, and Todd and I have discussed it in past previous seasons. All these kids play together on a year round. They play club ball together. They've been, even though they go to different high schools, on the weekends they're going on trips together. So that bite that you may have seen is not there anymore, just because. They know that's their teammate for a club, and they're going to need them, and they don't want to hurt them. So
I was sitting with Alma Hurtado and Bri Hurtado. Big shout out to the legendary Hurtado dynasty there, and we were bringing up that topic as well. And Alma was telling me, in her day and everything, even though the girls still knew each other and played each other, that didn't matter when it was on the field. On the field, they were ready to.
Yeah, but
fight.
It's different now.
It's different now. It's different. That's what I guess I miss the most.
Well, and it may come back because it only takes 1 or 2 players to be a villain, if you will, and then it all comes back.
I mean, the first game had some of that at Southeast 2 months
it had
ago.
some vibes,
it had a spark of that.
I was really surprised that there was no backlash for Choppies with the flag over there.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's some disrespect.
It was, but
whether he meant it or not, I mean, I'm not saying he did, but at the same time, usually a team will take offense.
But that's what I like to see. I want to see more of what Chappies is because that's what it means. It's Dalton versus Southeast. It's not the same.
But let's just look at it. Like I said, here, I mean, we've got a minute left, but really quick is, I don't know what they do at Dalton, but it seems like every year we're looking for their demise. Like, they've lost 10 players. They lost 9 players. And when they lost the Eddermores and Kobe Press, when they went 3 years straight undefeated, they didn't they didn't win a state the 2016, but then they come back and win one, come back in 17 and 18 and 19, and so I think we can just put that to bed. That they're going to slip up. I think as long as they've got them, they're focused and they've got the talent.
Yeah, they're always
they got a
be
machine,
and they're going to be the favorite for the Soccer City Cup. So let's go ahead and pull up the final standings for the Soccer City Cup. Remember, on the boys' side, we had to do points per game because of the uneven schedule. But Dalton's still sitting on top of that with an average of 3 points per game. So that's 2 wins out of their 2 games, and you can see the rest of the standings there. Putting up, so Dalton ends up with their 4th Soccer City Cup in a row. And then
so just that interview that we got that's coming up, I believe, with the 4 Dalton boys, those magic words, job's not done. So that tells you where their head is.
Oh, yeah. Right after, you heard Chiefs redirecting them from the win over Southeast right to playoffs and be like.
To Kel, because they knew they were playing Kel.
Yeah, and he was previewing them for Kel as they were right after the game. It was wild.
Was that you guys were able to get that interview? So let's go ahead and watch this interview, and then we'll go to commercial break with Luis Favela, Chappies Garcia, Joe Gonzalez, and Chris Lopez.
Hey y'all, we got some special guests right here. Who are we talking to, and what are we doing today, boys? Who are y'all?
We're the Dalton High School soccer team.
Who are you? What's your name, bro? What's your name?
Chappies Garcia. Joe Gonzalez.
Y'all just beat Southeast in a convincing way, 4-1 last home game, and we are coming up on, as your coach said, the season starts now. We got the state games coming up. How does that feel? Regular season is over, and now it's time to focus on the tournament. What are y'all's feelings going into it?
This is what we've been waiting for since the beginning. Since November when we started the workouts for the team, we had a goal in mind, and we're finally here, ready to take it on.
And I love it. Beating Southeast has got to feel a little more special, right, than beating the other things. Talk about what it's like now that this season you beat Southeast twice now. Once at their home, once at your home. How does that feel, and does it give you a little extra edge?
I think it was something right. I think we knew coming into this that we were gonna dominate, and we're just here like the job's not finished. We're gonna take it one game at a time, and we're gonna keep going for our goal, which is winning the state championship.
Absolutely, I like what you said. Job's not finished. And talk to me, boys. It's senior night, essentially it's gotta feel special, senior night. What do you feel going into it as your final time representing Dalton High School?
I feel a lot more pride for sure. I mean, representing Dalton. I mean, like I said, we have that goal of winning state. We know this is a team that can definitely achieve that goal. So we're pretty excited.
Absolutely. Every time y'all played, y'all ever just look at that scoreboard and see what you're representing? There you go. And then, how do you feel potentially adding your legacy to that? Is that the goal?
That's the goal.
Good stuff. Hey, thank you, boys, and we're gonna keep following y'all, and we're gonna be cheering y'all on when it comes to that stage. We'll be here on Wednesday.
Thank you.
And look at that, Soccer City champions. Was 4 years in a row?
4 years in a row.
Look at that.
Thank you, Don. Couldn't be without y'all. I'm just so glad y'all support us, and just keep coming out.
Here's two of the nicest guys in the car business.
Hey, it's Eddie and Greg from North Georgia Toyota. We're taking a little break from doing commercials, do a little fishing. Hey, I'm not fishing, I'm catching. All right, hang in there, don't let it get away.
Don't let your big deal get away at North Georgia Toyota.
Greg, some listeners gonna say, we can't do that. What do we say? We say, oh yes, we can. And it's only at North Georgia Toyota in Dalton. Come see us. Bring it in.
Why should you choose Optilink Internet?
When I work from home, I need fast, reliable internet. Optilink provides that with no hidden fees.
Our customers depend on us for great service and quality. And that's why we chose Optilink Internet.
As we serve the needs of our clients, we need reliable internet service. That's why I chose Optilink as my hometown provider.
Some people say you can't get fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with Optilink.
Experience the difference. Call today.
And welcome back to Monday Night Football. We were just finishing up talking about El Clásico, and we didn't get to it, but we need to get to it. We were talking earlier about Joe Gonzalez and the kind of season he's having. Let's go ahead and coming in off the break, you should have seen that Joe Gonzalez goal. It was a beauty. But he also had two other free kicks, if I remember correctly.
I was about to say, it was just one of, it's a magic thing, but it's a one of.
Yeah, this one's right here. Like, he lined it up, and I turned around to the crowd, and as I looked at it, I looked at a gem by the name of Ryan Cobb, and I said, Ryan, he's going to make it. And sure enough, he nailed it.
100%. And I think having that where you give a free kick anywhere around that area, it's as good as a penalty.
I haven't seen anyone – the last time I saw anyone hitting free kicks with that kind of consistency, it was Nico Kuna at Northwest. Just that you knew it was either going to be on frame or is it going to be off the crossbar or off a post, and you just knew that everything was going to be on frame.
So I wonder –
Joe is in that zone right now.
Because he's made, 5, 6, 7 goals from like 20, 35 yards. So it's not a secret. Schools, if you're scouting – sorry, you're not going to be a scout because there's not much video out there of Dalton.
And even if they know it's coming, it's not like they can do anything about it.
But you may not want to foul within 30 yards or less because 9 times out of 10, it may go in. And even Jason Longshore, I don't know if we're going to go to the Fort Mountain Cup, but they had a very good view from Soccer Down South on their Instagram page. They had a booth cam that showed him calling the goal and showing them,
it was great,
recording the goal. And Jason, he was off the charts. He loved it. I mean,
and his co-host, you see her clasp her hands.
No, she was like,
wow.
Yeah. So
going from the field to the mountain.
Yeah, I don't care how passe and out of form it is. You better put somebody on that post.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now.
9 times out of 10 it goes in. The one time it doesn't go in, it's still dangerous.
Yeah.
And now let's roll into where? Other side of the Conasauga River.
I know. Apparently I'm the only one brave enough to go over there.
The Fort Mountain
Yahoos
Cup.
Never seem to make it over there. Yeah, Fort Mountain Cup was exciting this year. The girls' game, it was hard fought. It kind of went the way I thought. Murray, I'll be straight with you. Murray girls, they got some ballers over there. And anybody who thinks otherwise is sorely mistaken. And on their day, they can give anybody a battle. They're going to be going to state.
Well, they did play Dalton earlier, and it didn't go.
Well, I mean, but once again,
Dalton.
it's out. You're talking about 5A to 3A,
4A,
or 4A to
2A.
2A, yeah. So, but there's two classification difference. So it's always important to apples to oranges. I think we get, because of Soccer City Cup, we don't do that often, and we just take for granted that it's Creek playing Dalton or it's Northwest playing, Southeast or whatever, and they're locals and they're all the same. But the classifications matter when you're talking about, 1,000 kids difference in a school system. But the girls' game, always good. Murray County girls were holders. They were intent on keeping it. And so we had an interview with, they ended up winning 2-0, and we had an interview with Linda Lopez, and we can go to that interview right now. Hey, this is Todd of Monday Night Football. I'm joined by Murray County senior Linda Lopez, who just enjoyed her last game, her last Fort Mountain Cup game. She finishes undefeated versus North Murray in the Fort Mountain Cup. Linda, how does that feel?
It's an incredible feeling to be able to win the cup since it started. I think it's a very good tradition that we've kept going, and our team has worked very hard to keep it up, especially our senior year. It's great to win it your senior year and finish off the season in a win with the cup.
And if you could, you're a 4-year player. What's your biggest moment in the last 4 years?
My biggest moment? I'd probably say my sophomore year, scoring my first goal against Bannon. But mostly just winning against North Murray my sophomore year, the very first time. It was an incredible feeling. I know we hadn't won in a while, and winning sophomore year was a great feeling.
And moving on from your senior year, what are you going to miss most about playing?
I'm going to miss the feeling before the game, after the game, knowing that we tried our best and we gave it our all. Whether it was a win or a loss, we came out as a team together and always gave it our best. It was just a great feeling having a family.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, and good luck the rest of the season and beyond.
Thank you so much.
All right, and welcome back. Big thank you to Linda Lopez. You can see she was wearing her goggles there. Are you guys familiar with this game?
Yeah, Senior Assassin.
Senior Assassin.
Yeah.
This was not a thing when you were there.
It wasn't a thing when I was there, but it was really, really soon. Y'all don't know Senior Assassin?
Well, I do now. I know, and I asked her.
Really?
I was like, do you are you like under some sort of
safe when they're doing the school stuff though?
I don't know how. She had her glasses, so that made me think she was not safe.
Well, she was safe if she had her goggles. She was safe with goggles.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I don't know what the Senior Assassin.
I'll explain to you off camera. How about
off
that?
Camera.
Off camera.
So anyway, thank you, Linda Lopez, and shout out to Murray County girls for getting it done 2-0 and taking the trophy back down with them. They brought it to the game and they took it back home with them. So we'll look to see if North Murray can turn it around next year, working with a really young squad. They're not going to be going to the playoffs this year, so it's like they say.
But I mean, like you said, young squad. They got time to grow. As long as they hit it hard during the off season, doing the training, I think they'll turn back around.
Well, I mean, but we talked about that 2A. Color Creek, North Murray, Ringgold. Like that's never going to be an easy group to get out of over there. So,
and then that rolled into the boys' final.
Penalties, right?
Penalties.
PKs.
I'll be honest with you. I was the first half. I was about ready. It was one of those that I was about ready to leave because I felt like both sides were playing. You ever been to those big games where they're playing scared?
Yes.
And both teams were playing a defensive minded, and I was like
the Red Wolves.
Jeez Louise, man. But both sides were playing like they didn't want to win the game, and it's just like somebody is going to have to take a chance. And to their benefit, the game opened up in the second half. We got some attacking soccer going on. Both Murray and North Murray, you kind of saw that rivalry start to come out. Some emotion, started getting into each other a little bit. And then once that started, then just nobody could score. But both teams started going end to end and getting wild, and you could see the writing was on the wall. This thing's going into extra time. Went into extra time, continued. Good chances on both sides, and then it rolls into penalty kicks.
Where, I mean, let's just
call it what it is.
I mean, I think if we look at the area keepers, Jacob Hendrickson's probably one of the best. I won't say the best because I think the best keeper right now is sitting at Dalton in between the pipes. But I would put Jacob as 1B.
Well, I'll put it this way, and I think when you're choosing like who's the best keeper, it's not just the physical, it's the mental. Yeah. And I will tell you what he told me.
What'd he say?
In the interview? He did his homework. He went back and looked on film on all the Murray, and he said they all went the way that they did in the film.
Well, I mean, that just means good, and that's why True McConnell is getting a good player or players in the Twins. So, and he did his homework, and that just shows how much he wanted it.
He's invested.
He wanted it. Maybe his other teammates didn't want as much as he did, but he wanted it. And look at it.
No, I think they wanted it. That thing was going back down 225, and you could tell when it went to penalty kicks, Murray was very confident.
And let's just really quick, look at what Coach Gould has done there. Here, he's built off of what Brugueño had been doing there for the past decade or so, and now I think with his soccer acumen, his pedigree, he is little by little. I think he's going to be elevated.
Well, I think he's just bringing a little something different now, and maybe it was just a little tweak here, and he's gotten some players, and he got some good players on his side, some leadership, and he's doing great with it.
So, but you guys were able to get in, or you were able to get an interview with Jacob Hendrickson to talk about the final save of the interview. So let's go ahead and roll to that, and then we'll go to roll into the commercial break.
Oh, and a big save right there, and that's going to win it for Murray County. The Fort Mountain Cup is going south on 225. All right, this is Todd of Monday Night Football. I am here at North Murray Stadium with Jacob Henderson, keeper and winner of the Fort Mountain Cup this year. Yeah. Jacob, let's talk about the game a little bit. First half, I'll be honest with you, it seemed a bit of a bore. Yeah. Was it hard for you to stay engaged in the first part of the game? Because it seemed like neither team really wanted to go for it.
It was hard to stay focused. It was very back and forth, really big chances. We all had to really stay focused and just know that in the end we could pull something off. And so
it felt like with about 20 minutes to go in the game, it really started to open up. Did you guys make any tactical changes, or was it just a sense of urgency?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of sense of urgency for us. For them, it was obvious they were getting tired, and that's when we kind of turned it up a little bit, and we created some chances. We probably should have scored a couple of chances, but in the end, we still won, so that's what matters.
And let's go to the penalty kicks, the dramatics. We had the Instagram Live going, but you come up with 3 huge saves. Yeah. What are you relying on in those moments? Is it mostly instinct? Is it you've watched some film? What's going through your mind?
It's a combination of things. A lot of instinct. We've done this several times this season, so I kind of know what to do, and I trust my players. I trust that they're going to do their job and they're going to put the ball in the back of the net. And I know I just have to save 1 or 2, and tonight I got 3, so we'll take that for sure.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, did you have a certain sense of redemption given that it went down the exact opposite way last year in the same fixture?
Yes, it feels very good to win here. It's the first time we've won here in a very long time, so it really feels good to come here and get a win. For all the guys, we were very upset, not getting a win last year, and so we brought a lot of that emotion into this game, and it was very evident in the way we ended it. So,
well, congratulations on the Fort Mountain Cup victory. Enjoy taking that south down 225 back home, yes, and good luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At ColdwellBanker.com.
Discover what a strong, locally owned community bank can do for you.
I'm Tyler Hudson of Shankly Elite Training in Dalton, Georgia. We train a huge number of the region's aspiring soccer players. I moved my business and personal banking to Builtwell 2 years ago. It's important for me to work with a community bank where I know them and they know me. Because they make things easy for me, my bank is Builtwell.
Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football. undeniably the best part of soccer is when we get to playoffs, where it's a go home or go big. And so now it's time to talk about that next stage.
Well, yeah, let's start talking about it. I mean, we've got 14. So there's 16 total boys and girls teams, 8 schools, 2 each. So we've got 14 out of the 16 going in. That is a record. Previously it used to be 13.
Beautiful.
Everyone is in except for Dalton Academy and North Murray girls. Christian Heritage made it, but that's because of the way the schedule goes. They're actually single A to 3A. They the strength of schedule, all that. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you look at GHSA schedule, it is all backed up. But here's games. So let's go to the Optilink scoreboard or Optilink schedule for this upcoming week. We're starting off on Tuesday. You have Dalton versus Westminster. That is girls. Then you have Southeast at Cambridge. Tough matchup there for the girls. Wednesday, you have Southeast at Westminster for the boys. You have Dalton versus Kell. So Dalton will be playing Kell at home. Thursday, we've got quite a few matchups. You got Northwest versus Cairo, girls. Cairo, the syrup makers. Color Creek versus Franklin County. That's on the girls' side. Murray County versus Johnson out of Augusta, the girls. Christian Heritage at Savannah Country Day. That is for the girls. Then on Friday, you have Christian Heritage boys traveling down to Holy Innocents.
What a matchup.
Dalton Academy going down to Dodge County on the boys' side. Cahulla Creek playing South Atlanta boys. Northwest versus Sandy Creek boys. North Murray at Ringgold boys. Matchup of their region. And then Murray County at Franklin County for the boys.
What was that region matchup you just gave?
North Murray at Ringgold.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's because it threw me off. I had to double check the 2A, but we'll discuss that in the boys section. But first of all, let's look at the girls. Todd, where
do you want to start?
I mean, let's start 4A, work our ways down. So
we're starting 4, working down. All right.
So you've got Dalton playing Westminster. Every team from this region is going up against a powerhouse in Atlanta. So, but talking to Coach Almodovar, he's a guy that studies film. He looked at the tendencies. He said he's got something for him. So we'll have to see what they do.
Okay. Well.
I think it'll work. I mean, the attitude that these girls have shown, the season they've had.
The thing that gets me with any of our local teams is when they play these Atlanta teams is the physicality part.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the technical aspect. There's just the physicality and the speed. The girls from the Atlanta area tend to be a little bigger, stronger, and overall just faster.
And so you say that, and then I think of 2 people from the Dalton girls, Yuritsa and Keegan.
Yes, but then you look at them and then you see them play against some of those Atlanta teams. You're like, okay, we need 10 of those.
But here's the thing. Every time that I don't know about for you guys, but every time we bring up these schools and we say the name like Westminster, we're already like mentally. I feel like there's some amount of defeat that comes with just saying the name. Because we're intimidated. But at the same time, there comes a point where you have to rise to the level and you got to go play them. It doesn't matter if you play them in the first round or in the third round. You end up playing Marist. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter. Right. You got to go out and you got to win these games.
And on the girls, they've done well. They've it's going back to how it was for the boys back 20 years ago when it was St. Pius was the top that the mountain that you had to go over, and now it's getting better. So Dalton plays first round Westminster. Obviously, if they make it through, it looks like then they would play possibly. Who are we looking at, Todd? You said Merritt.
Well, if they made it to the round of, it looks like 8, they could potentially play Eastside or they could play Marist. But if they win, they're playing the winner of Drew and Stars Mill, which we had a little dose of Stars Mill a few weeks ago. Yeah. But that was a little bit of an outlier because they only brought 12 players to that game versus Southeast. But you know what? Get past it. It's win in advance. Yeah. You don't have to beat a team 12-0. You got to win and advance. Whether that's 1-0 or whether that's on penalty kicks.
They're worth the same.
It doesn't matter. So, and then you got Southeast Whitfield in the upper bracket. Yep. They're traveling away to Cambridge. That's going to be tough. Number 1 going away. Number 2, it's Cambridge. Once again, the perennial powerhouse.
Yeah, and then 3A, you've got Northwest playing Cairo girls, Cairo Syrup Makers. That is at home. So, I mean,
8th year in a row that. Thank you, Coach Moore, former coach of Northwest, who let us know that is 8 years in a row that Northwest has hosted a state playoff game and 12 years in a row.
And the girls, just so you know, the Northwest girls are coming in as the number 4 team in 3A. Wow. Like out of the way they ranked them, Cairo is number 29. If you look at their bracket, they should be favored if they go accordingly because, I mean, they're the highest seed in their bracket, but we know
and hopefully they get that support too.
But see, right there in their bracket, we see Bainbridge sitting there. We see Cherokee Bluff sitting there. So these are, once again, perennial schools. Yeah. But there comes a point where they also have to understand that people are looking at Northwest going, that's a perennial school coming out of North Georgia. It's going to have a quality team. And eventually you're going to have to go out and you got to win the games.
And then let's go really quick. 2A, you've got Murray County playing Johnson from Augusta. They're on the lower bracket. And then you have Coahulla Creek girls hosting Franklin County. And then you have a Sonoraville in there, Todd. They're not Sonoraville anymore. It looks like they're Sonoraville. So
no, and by the way, 2 predictions. I said last week Murray County would get it done and get in the playoffs. They did just that on the boys' side, by the way. And then the girls, I was worried that when the Coahulla Creek girls, I was really worried that they had left it too much to do going away to Sonoraville, but I was wrong.
And they came in. And then on the private side, you have Christian Heritage coming out. And they will be in now. It looks like they're going to be playing Savannah Country Day, so they're going to have a long road trip on Friday. I'm pretty sure they're not even going to school that day. It's going
the drive down there will take the whole school day. Hey, any chance they can charter a flight down there? That might be
a flight.
It might be the better way to go.
Ken White, you want to help do that? I mean, there's a lot of facilities named after you over there, so you may want to help Christian Heritage a little bit.
So how much time we got?
We've got 25 seconds.
All right, in 25 seconds, who's on the girls' side? Who stands the best chance of going the furthest?
Dalton.
If Dalton get past their first round, I think they got a chance, and then I would put Creek at the second school.
I'm going opposite. I'm going Northwest has the best chance.
Or North. Well,
I'm going Northwest, Creek, then Dalton.
I would, now that you said that, that's how I'd agree as well.
Dalton to me one.
Okay. All right. With that, we're going to commercial break, and we'll discuss the boys' playoffs.
I'm Dr. Michelle Little.
And I'm Dr. Kayla Giabo with Foundation Direct Family Care. We wanted to start a membership-based primary care practice.
But we're doctors, not business people.
I'm Kylie Roy with Biltwell Bank. I listen to their pitch and help them scale from startup to owning their own building.
Biltwell sees the value of small businesses in the community and supports their ingenuity.
Because every business owner doesn't have an MBA, our bank is Biltwell.
Member FDIC.
Who's up for some football? That's not football. This is football. And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Come see us.
Hey, that's our part.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football. Of course, a big thank you, as always, to the sponsors responsible for helping us bring you this pristine soccer show in Soccertown,
and
USA.
Also Elliott Media, because if it wasn't by Elliott Media, we would not be here for another year.
And Matt Gaston
Center, but really to Judy Elliott for bringing us back on. You know, she's helped us since
the visionary.
Since year one, we've worked the kinks out, and I think by far this has been the best season. Thanks to Brandon Brown Productions as well. Brandon.
Big shout out to Brandon.
Hey, Brown.
Brandon Brown. But let's roll right in. Let's go into these boys' playoffs.
Hey, you know what? I'm ready.
Because now we got...
You found the link.
Yeah, I found the link.
So this, I don't know if this is the first time, but we have all 8 boys in the playoffs.
I think we've had all 8 boys.
I don't know, but maybe we had. I think on the girls' side. But let's go ahead and start off in 4A real quick.
So 8 state champions is what we'll have in...
Yeah, so Dalton's sitting there, Team 1 out of Region 7. They're going to be going up against Kell, a familiar team. If you're Dalton, you're like, it's Kell again. If you're Kell, you're like,
yeah, because they played Kell.
Dalton again.
They played Kell. They played Kell in the first round last year.
Yeah, don't forget that goes both ways. If you're Kell, you're like, seriously? Seriously.
I mean, but look at it. If they win, they got a potential rematch possibly against Pace Academy.
Yep.
And then if you look at the lower bracket there, they got a St. Pius, a Benedict, or a Eastside or McDonough. So it's not going to be an easy way. But as you mentioned, they're on the bottom half of the bracket.
So
they'll be hosting if they make it all the way through.
Remember, that comes with the sophistication of a coin flip.
Yeah.
That's how they decide whether the top half or bottom half hosts.
And then you have Southeast, which is on the upper side of the bracket, same side as Dalton. just upper. So I mean, they got to play Westminster. If they get by Westminster, then it could get a little different there. But if they're able to get to that Westminster and they're able to run it, they still would have to play Forsyth or Eagles Landing. But that Westminster, if they can get over that first game.
Well, the Westminster is the number 1 seed sitting there, and we all remember the game. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I believe that was a state semi, or was that a round of 8? I think it was a quarterfinal. Southeast lost that to Westminster in extra time, and it was an absolute heartbreaker. So this is maybe a shot of redemption for Southeast against Westminster.
I think as long as if it's not a region, I think they play better when it's someone that's not local, because local teams, they know how to mark up and play the players, I think, when they play a team from the outside. So we'll see how that goes. But, there's a good possibility there. And then look at 3A. Really one school there, Todd, is Coahulla Creek. They are
Northwest?
Northwest. We're sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of last year.
You know what? It's all north in the county of Juan, also known as a place he doesn't travel to.
But then I went to the Northwest Southeast game that you were not at.
Northwest Southeast game. Okay.
But then let's look at it. Northwest, they are in the upper side of the bracket. They would not be hosting, but if they make it through, they have a potential quarterfinal matchup versus Whitewater, which I know you have a connection down there with Whitewater, Mr. Todd.
Yeah, that's on the girls' side, but you have a potential
I am looking
matchup.
at the girl. Dadgummit, here I am again. No, I'm looking at the boys.
No. My connection's on the girls' side down there. But yeah, it's interesting. We saw at Northwest, they cracked the top 10 in the state, and that's overall top 10 in the state. So
2 losses overall.
Yeah, and they kind of had that forgettable game against Calhoun.
Possibly should have been one.
And they're all rememberable.
And the thing here is Eastside will have them, both on the boys and girls, he will have them perfectly ready to go.
Well, here's the thing. My thing about Northwest is, like, I don't want them buying into their hype. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like they're a good side, and there's still a lot to do. It's just they need to approach this just like Dalton. The season starts now, and what's happened and what's up to this point to get in there, it doesn't matter. It's got to start over again.
Yeah, and then let's go down to 2A now. I mean, obviously you have
2A's busy.
North Murray, and Coahulla Creek. You have Murray County. They're playing Franklin County, so they're going to have to go away. I don't know much about Franklin County. I think it's down there near Heard County, down in towards West Georgia, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know where it's at.
But we will see where they're at. And then on the other side of the bracket, so you have Murray County on the upper right, and then on the upper left, you have North Murray versus Ringo.
What a matchup.
Which was Ringo took that earlier in the year 2-1. So it'll be very interesting to see how this matchup
Do you think those matches early on do carry some weight going into play about this, or is it
mentally? Yeah, absolutely.
You know how they're going to play. If you're North Murray and you said we could have won that game, but we weren't at our 100, we didn't have our A game. Now you know, hey, this is what they're going to do. If we can be on our game, go there.
Well, Ringgold has been balling this year. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, they took Creek to penalty kicks. They're sitting there second in the region. So, I mean, they're there for a reason.
And then you got Coahulla Creek on the lower left side playing South Atlanta. Honestly, I think that South Atlanta game, I think it may be a mercy rule. I'm calling it now.
I don't know if it's going to be a mercy, but I like the spot that Creek is in. If you look, they should be hosting all the way through.
The biggest roadblock is Columbus
but also there's 2 teams there that's interesting: Columbus and Thompson County, which they've ran into multiple times over the past 5 years into the playoffs. So some really memorable matches between those 2 schools.
And then on the Division One boys, you have Dalton Academy playing. They will be playing Dodge County, so they're going to go down. Dodge County's down.
Oh, I see it now.
They're going to go down. So
you saw me when I put.
But I mean, they may. I don't know how. It's Dalton County. If they play the game that they're supposed to play, I think they'll be okay. But
yes, and that cracks me up, right? Because here you go. Last week you got Southeast that just absolutely smokes TDA 9-0. Doesn't even look like they deserve to be on the field. And then last week you got Coahulla Creek squeaking out 1-0,
yeah.
Or it was about 1 goal.
3-2.
Yes, they won by 1 goal, and you're like, well, which TDA is going to show up in this case? If that's the TDA is going to show up, that's gonna run with Creek 3-2, lose by a goal. Now look at this as a completely different scenario. So maybe Coach Lahr tapped into something.
And then you have the final bracket, which is the private school bracket from 1A to 3A. You have Christian Heritage playing Holy Innocents, and they're having to go down. The thing is, Atlanta International's on the other side of the bracket, so if Christian Heritage can pull this off and make their way through all the way to the final, then they potentially have a matchup with Atlanta International, which they played a couple years ago. So it's very interesting. But, I mean, Todd, with that, I mean, it's a wrap. I mean, we've got no more time.
All right.
So what a week it's going to be. Looking forward to it. See where we are next week.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Monday Night Football.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At coldwellbanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At coldwellbanker.com.
Why should you choose Optilink Internet?
When I work from home, I need fast, reliable internet. Optilink provides that with no hidden fees.
Our customers depend on us for great service and quality. And that's why we chose Optilink Internet.
As we serve the needs of our clients, we need reliable internet service. That's why I chose Optilink as my hometown provider.
Some people say you can't get fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with Optilink.
Experience the difference. Call today.
Discover what a strong, locally owned community bank can do for you.
I'm Tyler Hudson of Shankley Training in Dalton, Georgia. We train a huge number of the region's aspiring soccer players. I moved my business and personal banking to Builtwell 2 years ago. It's important for me to work with a community bank where I know them and they know me. Because they make things easy for me, my bank is Builtwell.
Member FDIC.
Here's two of the nicest guys in the car business.
Hey, it's Eddie and Greg from North Georgia Toyota. We're taking a little break from doing commercials, do a little fishing. Hey, I'm not fishing, I'm catching. All right, hang in there, don't let it get away.
Don't let your big deal get away at North Georgia Toyota.
Greg, some listeners gonna say, we can't do that. What do we say? We say, oh yes, we can. And it's only at North Georgia Toyota in Dalton. Come see us. Bring it in.
To advertise your business on TV, contact Elliott Media at 706-529-4237.